What's up, guys? This is St0p, bringing you another audio commentary for WCReplays.com. This audio is copyrighted to see replays, so don't go stealing it. First things first, this was supposed to be an audio on member replays that were submitted to me. I made a thread about it. I mentioned it in my last audio, and I was really looking forward to doing that, but I didn't get too many replays, surprisingly. I think I got about a little less than 10. And, you know, I wasn't going to do just on every game that was sent to me. I wanted specific games or specific matchups or something like that. So please continue to send me your replays. You can PM me with a link to them. You can post in the thread. You can even message me on Battle.net and, you know, let me know. or drop by channel Clan VT. I'll be there 99% of the time I'm online. Because I do want to do another audio on member replays. So let's get that started. Next order of business, to get the game, first game paused, 1 minute mark, 1x speed, fog of war off on the orcs point of view. Because I couldn't do the member replay audio that I wanted to do, I took someone else's advice, and I did an orc vs human MK fast expo audio. So all of these games will feature orc vs human and the human player using the MK fast expo strategy, which has become pretty popular recently, especially with the tower nerf, tower rushes being much more difficult to execute versus orc. So, that having been said, I'm going to try to take you, this is an unusual audio in that I've done 5 games instead of 4. I think 5 completely different strategies, 4 completely different maps. 1 map repeats itself, but that's okay. And I'm going to go over why the strategies chosen are effective, maybe not effective, maybe someone could have done something better, what maps are better for this strategy, what maps are worse for this strategy, and how the map should affect your choice to counter the strategy. So anyways, that having been said, get game 1 unpaused in 3, 2, 1, unpause. Just the beginning preliminaries. This is Secret Valley, orc vs human. I like it now as an orc map. It's always been an orc map because of the Fountains of Health, because of the many Blade Master items. There's good Blade Master creeping, but in the past it was a very easy tower rush map, which made it not fun for orc vs human, not as fun anyway. But now that's a lot easier to counter. As far as this game goes, Choo Bus is the human player, very strong East human player, good player. I've never actually heard of the orc player, Royal Guard Alex, but he posted this in the member section of WC Replays. I think it was in response to a thread about this strategy and how to beat it, and his unusual hero choice in doing so, which isn't so unusual, but whatever. That's the reason I've taken this game to start. So yeah, most important thing, once again, the scout peon comes out. This is a map such that if you scout with your altar peon, you're always going to know what his hero is, which is really important, obviously, because your game plan might change based on his hero. He's chosen Mountain King. Obviously Royal Guard Alex doesn't like that, but that's okay. Notice, first of all, Guard Alex's decision to creep first instead of harass, which is a decision a lot of orcs won't make versus Mountain King, and particularly on this map, especially the creeping he does, because he chooses not to make an early Voodoo Lunge. But anyways, this is a nice little trick. You can buy both circlets, which obviously makes your blade that much stronger, and then creep one of the Ogre Magi's. The right shop's the easier Magi to creep, because your Blade Master has a little niche that he can get into, and one of the Ogre Warriors can't attack. So you can see that's what's happening right now. These Ogre Magi drop great items. He gets a Potion of Greater Healing. In my opinion, the best drop he could have gotten. Potion of Greater Invulnerability being the next best. Potion of Greater Mana. The one you don't want is Wand of Mana Stealing, or the Roar Scroll. Anyways, the very next thing he does is creep the Health Fountain. This is not only going to give him level 2, but it'll also give him the potential for another Blade Master item. And yeah, he gets a Claws of Attack, so that's 2 great item drops in a row for Royal Guard Alex. The great thing about creeping this is it really doesn't cost you in terms of healing, because you're healing as you creep. One thing I think he should be doing, which he isn't doing, is using that scout peon that he used initially. I don't know, I don't think it died. In fact, I'm pretty sure it didn't die. Personally, I would have kept it at the closer expo to know whether or not Guard Alex was going to creep for 2 in the Mountain King before expoing, or if he was going to go straight to the expo, because it's nice to be able to harass them while they creep something as large as the gold mine. But anyways, he assumes that anyway, which is great. I mean, he knew pretty much this is the expo that Chuchibus was going to go for. It's the one that's closer to his base, etc., etc., etc. So he gets in time to snag the Berserker creep and the item. It's always very good when you can deny creeps versus the Mountain King strategy, because the higher up he gets in levels, the more ridiculous Stormbolt gets, and the more of a problem it's going to give you. A level 2 Stormbolt really destroys you early on. It can do a lot of damage to you. Whereas if you have the level 3 Blade Master, which Gardeluxe is about to get, before the Mountain King gets level 3, or even if he does get level 3, but the earlier you get level 3 Blade, the more easily you can be harassing his creeping. Some pretty risky harassment, I think, on Gardeluxe's point of view here. I think his Blade went down to 10 HP there, and he's pretty much surrounded himself, but whatever. He's accomplishing something. You can kill Footman, you can weaken the Mountain King. On Secret Valley, where there's a health fountain, my preference would have been to kill as many peasants as possible. But whatever, he's still doing it. Like, whatever, any damage you can do to the human, anything that slows them actually putting up the expo and starting to get the income advantage, is good for you. You notice how much wood he has. Looking at Gardeluxe's base, he'd forgotten the burrow for the Shadow Hunter. So he builds 2 right away, which is great. Every time you forget a burrow, always build an extra one. Very smart. But notice he also goes to a faster tier 3, I think. Because he has, yeah, there you go. Because he has so much extra wood, and because he knows his Shadow Hunter is going to be delayed anyways, he goes straight to tier 3. And tier 3 is very useful versus this strategy. For Orb, for Fortified Burrows, for Tiny Great Halls. And you're allowed to go tier 3 versus this because there's pretty much no threat of them tower rushing you, because you have such an advantage of units early on. So anyways, something I'd like to talk about briefly while they're, this is, I mean, again, risky harass, I think. I don't know why Chuchibus didn't bolt a weak grunt and just surround it in range of the towers, because the Orc can't fight versus the Mountain King and the Footman in range of towers. But anyways, the strength of this strategy, if I didn't explain it earlier, is it's not really very difficult to fast expand with the Mountain King on any map, but Secret Valley, Echo Isle are 2 of the easier ones. Knollwood and Twisted also featured in this audio, and they're still pretty easy to expand on. Not the easiest, but still relatively easy. And with the Mountain King, you don't really need, he can creep for level 3 and then have his bolt be pretty much all the defense you need in conjunction with towers. So towers plus bolt. If the Orc player comes in range of your base, you bolt whatever you want, his hero, a grunt, whatever, and that'll keep it stunned in range of the towers. So it's really easy to defend, which makes it a lot easier to bank gold, which makes it very easy to pump out Griffins quickly, which makes this a pretty strong strategy, because if you get 03 Griffins and hit, even with equal food, the Orc's probably going to lose that fight. Not much. Pretty much nothing in equal food beats 3/3 Griffins with, Devotion Aura and an Armor Scroll. Nothing, really. It's just, we don't have the kind of counters that, we don't have a Dryad or something like that that's a hard counter. And more bats just don't work. You'll notice a lot of undead players now going Frost Armor Worms with 03 Worms, like the APM strategy. I'm sure it's pretty famous. So this human strategy is similar to that effect. The other great thing about the Mountain King, he doesn't die at all as easily as the Archmage to the Blade Master, especially because if he's running, if the Blade Master is chasing the Mountain King, and even if the Mountain King's at half HP, he can just bolt the blade and keep running, whereas the Archmage would have to just, take the hits as they come. So he's a much more durable hero, which is one of the reasons he's coming into use more and more now. And also because once you get that level 3 Mountain King, and say you get a few circlets, even if you don't, but the circlets help him a lot, you can harass the Orc, you can harass his burrows with defend, you can bolt peons, and it's not a huge risk to you to do so. So you'll see that's exactly what Chuchibus is doing right now. He's creeping for 3, and then his aim is just going to be to harass. He knows obviously he can't fight straight up versus the Orc just yet, but as long as he gets gold banked up, that's great. And his base, looking at both his bases, they're pretty impregnable. 3 guard towers, soon to be 4, I guess, at the main. 3 guard towers, soon to be 4 at the expo, and there are well fortified guard towers at that. The farms protecting them well. So anyways, at the 8-minute 38 mark, you'll notice Gardeluxe has gotten the Alchemist third, which is an unconventional hero, to say the least, in this matchup. Why Alchemist? First of all, Chemical Rage is a pretty decent spell. He's a pretty decent hero killer.